Blood West is a tough first-person stealth shooter developed by Hyperstrange and released in February 2022. This is the indie team that brought you Elderborn and Postal. Given their prior, it is no surprise that they have another bloody, visceral experience for you here. Blood West is an immersive first-person shooter horror game in the recent vogue of Wild West horrors. You play as a resurrected gunslinger tasked with cleansing the cursed lands of monstrous entities. You have a series of melee and ranged weapons available to you, all in standard expectation: an axe, a bow and arrow, a pistol, a shotgun, and so on. In this regard, it's all pretty standard fare delivered in an indie budget style. Blood West borrows from two games in terms of style. The first shows up in the stealth element of the game and channels Thief. You will have to lean into this quite a bit, as enemies often combine their placement to cover areas you will need to pass through and are easily alerted by sound of movement or sight, both of which have a detection meter for you to examine. Enemies are powerful and combat is brutal. A single shot from them or a swipe in combat can result in the loss of a third of your health bar, and they are deadly accurate after you reveal yourself. Headshots or sneak melee attacks from behind are the order of the day here, unless you can creep past them. If you choose the first option, then rest assured there is a good collision detection in the depth of field here to make your headshots perfectly possible at distance. The second game Blood West borrows from is S.T.A.L.K.E.R. The graphics look a lot like an early version of this, and many of the base mechanics use the same principles. The world is sparsely populated, and you have a lot of it to traverse. The game world is vast. It will take you 20 hours plus to complete this, and you might well have to do so without a map. You see, Blood West doesn't give you anything easily. You begin with nothing and have to scavenge in every dark nook and cranny for things. Others you might occasionally be able to buy at strategic points in the game, but all the time you are limited by a small inventory, which means you will probably have to pick a playstyle, because you can only really carry one main weapon and a backup. You need to leave space for potions, bandages, and a host of other necessities, and this includes a map, which you may have the option to buy, but will take up precious inventory space if you do. You can level up your character through a basic skill tree as the game progresses, but the big addition is the ability to carry 3 artifacts, and here we see the S.T.A.L.K.E.R influence again. These artifacts, once found, will give your character various buffs, but they come with some problems sometimes as well, so choose wisely. One might give you a passive health regeneration at the cost of bleeding out whenever you use too much stamina. Another gives you 50% acid protection at the cost of 15% loss of total hit points. Get the right combination for your playstyle though, and you can breeze through the game. Overall, Blood West is a challenging game with tough enemies that requires a strategic approach. Thoughtless attacking will be punished. Die, and you are punished with a permanent debuff, which will stack each time you die, in a sort of reverse roguelike. Death also brings the biggest frustration with the game. The lack of checkpoints and having to retread lengthy parts of the game if you haven't slept recently, because death throws you back to the last place you slept in. Blood West gets a 74% rating from players on Metacritic and has a similar one on How Long to Beat. You'll get about 20 hours of play out of this. There is a lot to get through here. That is an impressive length for an indie title, and it's available free through Amazon Prime Gaming until the 5th of March. Miss that, and it regularly goes on sale for about $12 to $14, so get your shooting boots on for this, although in this world they'll likely be made of human skin.